How to enter any group and become one of them in 5 minutes. Social Trojan horse. Each of us finding ourselves in a new group, whether it's a new job, a sports club, an interest group, a university community, or even just a gathering of strangers at a party, experiences a natural and deep desire to be accepted. This is a fundamental human need, to feel part of something larger, to belong to a group where we are understood, valued, and accepted for who we are. We want more than just to be physically present, to be an invisible observer or an external element. We want to become a part of this group, to feel comfortable, to be one of them, to have our place and our significance in this new environment. Often, we feel that this takes weeks, even months. We believe we'll have to go through unspoken tests, prove our worth, demonstrate our competence, and gradually assimilate into the group, like water soaking into a sponge. We think we need to talk a lot about ourselves, showcase our achievements, recount our experiences, or search for common topics of conversation to find our niche, to find common ground that will help us blend in with the group. This process can seem long, energy-consuming, and at times even daunting, especially if you are naturally shy or don't like to draw excessive attention to yourself. Recall, for example, your first day at a new job in a large tech company in Silicon Valley. Everyone around seems busy, engaged in their tasks, interacting with each other. You feel like a newcomer, an outsider, as if you're sitting behind glass, observing a bustling life to which you don't yet belong. You try to catch snippets of conversations, understand inside jokes, find someone who could be your first contact. Or imagine you're at a large party at an acquaintance's house in New York where many people you don't know have gathered. Everyone is having fun, laughing, chatting in close circles. You stand in a corner with a drink in hand, feeling a bit awkward, trying to decide which group to join and what to say. We feel that the only way is to slowly test the waters, wait for an invitation, or seek an opportunity to prove ourselves. But what if there's a way to significantly speed up this process, reducing it to mere minutes? What if you could hack this social code, quickly overcome the barriers of unfamiliarity, and trigger the acceptance mechanism, making you one of them in any new environment, be it a corporate office, a sports team, or a friendly party? We will talk about how, using subtle yet powerful psychological techniques, this can be achieved. It's important to note right away, this is not about pretense, not about trying to be someone you are not, and not about insincerity. We are not talking about changing your personality or lying about your interests. On the contrary, it's about a deep understanding of how the human desire for community and belonging works, our basic social instincts. People subconsciously seek similarity, security, and trust in new social situations. If you can convey these signals quickly and sincerely, the acceptance process will accelerate manifold. This approach can be metaphorically called a social Trojan horse, not in the sense of deception or infiltration with hostile intentions, but in the sense of using outwardly neutral or even positive actions to subtly pass through the defensive walls of an unfamiliar group. Like in the story of the Trojan horse, which, while seemingly a harmless gift, actually carried within it the key to infiltration. Here, the Trojan horse is a set of your nonverbal cues, your manner of communication, and your ability to quickly find common ground, which allows you to be perceived as one of them, as someone who poses no threat, but rather is a potential ally or group member. We will discuss methods based on social psychology principles that explain why people feel connected to some and distance themselves from others. These are methods that activate natural mechanisms of trust and sympathy. For example, it could be subtle mirroring of body language, which creates a subconscious feeling of we are similar, or showing genuine, not ostentatious, interest in the interlocutor, which makes them feel important and heard, or discovering and subtly mentioning common interests, which instantly create a connection, or even a simple act of unobtrusive help, which opens the way to reciprocity. Imagine you are new to a fitness club in Los Angeles. Everyone around you is working out, focused on themselves. You feel a bit lost. But instead of standing aside, you notice that several people are resting between sets, and their postures are relaxed, and their movements are fluid. If you, without thinking about it, adopt a similar, relaxed posture, it will already send a subconscious signal, I am like you, I fit in. Then you might notice that one of them is looking at their phone with the logo of your favorite sports team. You can simply, when appropriate, say, great team choice. Are you rooting for the Lakers as much as I am? This one question, this one mention of a common interest can instantly break the ice and start a conversation that quickly leads to a feeling of being one of them. This is not about being an outgoing extrovert or a social interaction genius. It's about understanding that the human brain is constantly looking for signals of belonging. If you know how to give them, through body language, through questions, through common interests, through a willingness to help, you can significantly speed up the integration process into any group. This allows you to quickly overcome the barriers of unfamiliarity and trigger the acceptance mechanism, making you one of them in any new environment as you demonstrate that you are not a stranger, but a potential member of the community who brings value and is ready for interaction. In the first part, we discussed the importance of being accepted into a new group and how the desire for belonging is one of our basic human needs. We also touched upon the idea of the social Trojan horse, a metaphorical set of subtle, positive actions that allow for rapid integration into any group. Now it's time to delve into the essence of these psychological mechanisms and understand how they work in practice, allowing you to become one of them in a matter of minutes. It's important to remember that this is not manipulation in a negative sense, but a skillful, ethical use of natural human tendencies towards unity, seeking commonalities, and building trust. Firstly, it's using nonverbal congruence and subtle mirroring. This is one of the most powerful and subconscious tools for quickly establishing rapport. People tend to trust and like those who are similar to them. This doesn't mean complete, robotic copying of every movement of the interlocutor, which would look unnatural and even frightening. It's about subtle mirroring or synchronization that happens on a subconscious level. This could be mirroring posture. If the interlocutor is leaning slightly forward, you can do the same. Speech rate. If they speak calmly and slowly, you also slow down your pace, gestures using similar but not identical hand movements. Or even the group's energy. If the atmosphere is relaxed, you also remain relaxed. Imagine you've arrived at a business meeting in Los Angeles. Several people are sitting around the table. Most of them have their hands relaxed on the table or across. The latter isn't always bad if it's a common posture of the group, not a sign of closed-offness, and they speak moderately with measured intonation. If you enter the room, take a seat, adopt a similar posture, for example, placing your hands on the table or folding them in a similar way, and speak at a similar pace. This will subconsciously create a feeling of we are alike, we are from the same tribe. Your brain sends signals. This person is like us, they can be trusted. This contributes to rapid acceptance and reduces the feeling of novelty or threat that can arise when a stranger appears. Research shows that even such subtle mirroring significantly increases liking and willingness to cooperate. For example, if someone you've just met smiles a bit more, you too can allow yourself a slightly wider but genuine smile. This creates an invisible bridge between you. Secondly, it's important to demonstrate genuine interest and openness to listening. In a world where everyone strives to speak, the true art of listening has become a rarity. Most people love to talk about themselves, their interests, problems, and achievements. If you are able to show genuine, not feigned, interest in your interlocutors and their activities, it instantly endears you to them. Instead of immediately talking about yourself, your resume, or your successes, ask open-ended questions that show you want to understand their world. Open-ended questions are those that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. They require a detailed answer and encourage dialogue. For example, at a corporate event in New York, instead of talking about your work experience, you can approach a group of colleagues who are having an animated conversation and, waiting for a pause, ask, "What's the most interesting thing you're working on in your department right now?" Or, "What are your department's plans for the next quarter?" It looks very dynamic. Then, listen carefully, ask clarifying questions, and show empathy. "Wow, that sounds like a real challenge. How do you plan to handle?" Or, "I see that requires a lot of effort, but the result is probably worth it." People appreciate being heard, not just being waited for their turn to speak. Genuine listening makes the interlocutor feel important, significant, and understood, which instantly endears you to them and opens doors for further communication, allowing you to quickly become one of them in their eyes. This is a signal. I'm not here to dominate, but to learn and understand you. Thirdly, it's finding and subtly mentioning common ground or values. People connect based on shared interests, beliefs, or experiences. This is one of the main reasons for the formation of social groups. Your brain constantly looks for similarities because similarity equals safety. This could be a hobby, a love for the same sports team, travel, a specific music genre, a common problem, e.g., parking difficulties in the area, a similar attitude towards something, e.g., company changes or recent news, or even a mutual acquaintance. There's no need to invent or lie about your interests. It's enough to listen carefully and look for these threads during the conversation and then subtly, unobtrusively mention them. For example, if during a party conversation it turns out that you both recently returned from a trip to Italy, a subtle mention of this will create an instant connection. "Oh, you were in Italy? I also recently returned from Rome. It's amazing. What did you see?" Or if you notice a colleague in an office in Chicago wearing a Chicago Bulls logo t-shirt, you can say, "Great team choice. Were you rooting for them in the 90s, like me?" This isn't a direct question, but rather a statement of shared interest that invites further conversation on a topic familiar to both. This creates a feeling of we are of the same blood, we are similar, we have something in common, which accelerates the acceptance process and makes you one of them as you demonstrate belonging to their tribe in some respects. Fourthly, providing small, unobtrusive value or help. This is a powerful principle of reciprocity in its ethical and positive form. People tend to reciprocate kindness. It doesn't have to be something big or heroic. It could be useful advice. If you see someone looking for information you know, quick help with a minor task, e.g., if a colleague dropped pens, you can help pick them up, or simply being willing to listen when someone needs support. For example, you see a colleague in an office in Chicago looking for a pen, you can silently offer yours if you have several. Or at a student meeting in California, you notice someone struggling with a complex application on their laptop and you know how to do it. You can say, "If you want, I can quickly show you how it works. It will only take a minute." This isn't intrusive, doesn't require any obligation from them, but creates a positive interaction. A small, selfless act of kindness opens the way to reciprocity and goodwill. The person feels that you are not just present, but willing to be helpful, and this creates a positive first impression, contributing to your rapid acceptance into the group. This signals, "I am ready to invest in our relationship. I not only take, but also give." All these actions, nonverbal congruence, genuine interest, finding commonalities, and small acts of help, are aimed at creating a sense of community, trust, and security, which allows you to quickly become part of the group. They work on a subconscious level, bypassing the barriers we usually erect against strangers. You are not trying to deceive or manipulate. You are simply using deep psychological principles to demonstrate your value as a potential group member, your willingness to cooperate, and your similarity to others as quickly as possible. As a result, you cease to be an outsider and become one of them, opening doors for deeper communication and integration. We have come a long way in our exploration of the art of quickly integrating into any group. In the first part, we realized the deep human need for belonging and how often we spend too much time trying to be accepted. In the second part, we delved into the essence of the social Trojan horse, a set of subtle yet powerful psychological techniques such as nonverbal congruence, genuine listening, finding common ground, and unobtrusive help. Now it's time to bring all this knowledge together and understand how these principles can transform your communication and help you truly become one of them in any new environment. In conclusion, we emphasize that the social Trojan horse is not a set of cunning tricks to deceive people and gain their trust for personal gain. We are by no means talking about insincerity, pretense, or trying to be someone you are not just to be liked. On the contrary, it is a deep understanding of human psychology and the use of subtle, positive influence for establishing genuine connections. It is an approach based on respect for others, a willingness to understand and accept their world rather than a desire to manipulate or exploit. It is the ability to quickly adapt and become one of them by demonstrating respect, sincerity, and a willingness to cooperate rather than to dominate. The whole secret, as we have already discussed, is that these subtle cues act very quickly. Often within 5 minutes you can completely change the dynamic of a first interaction. The human brain, like a complex computer, instantly processes hundreds of nonverbal and verbal signals, forming a first impression of a stranger. From your posture, gaze, smile, to the first words spoken and the interest shown, all of this is scanned and analyzed by the interlocutor's subconscious. If these signals indicate similarity, safety, openness, and a willingness for positive interaction, defensive barriers quickly lower and you are perceived as one of them. Imagine entering a room full of strangers, for example, at a networking event in San Francisco. Instead of standing aside or nervously pulling out your phone, you calmly survey the room, looking for a group of people whose body language seems open, e.g., no crossed arms, people standing facing each other. You approach, observe for a couple of minutes, picking up on their energy and the tone of their conversation. Then, when a small pause occurs, you can easily interject using one of our principles. For example, subtly mirroring one participant's posture, or with a genuine smile asking an open-ended question related to their topic of conversation. That sounds really interesting. What's the most unexpected thing you've learned about the topic being discussed? In that moment, within seconds, you transition from stranger to potential participant. This isn't about forcing someone to accept you, to compel their liking. It's about naturally eliciting that feeling by becoming a person to whom others are drawn. People are more willing to accept those who seem similar to them, who show genuine interest in them, who are willing to offer a small amount of value. You are not imposing yourself, rather, you are demonstrating qualities that make you a valuable and desirable member of any group. True belonging is not manifested by showcasing your achievements, loudly talking about yourself, or trying to prove how cool you are. On the contrary, it is rooted in the ability to be genuinely open, interested in others, empathetic, and willing to contribute to the community. It manifests in your positive approach and your willingness to build bridges. When you act this way, you not only integrate quickly, but also begin to enrich any environment with your presence. How can you cultivate these qualities within yourself? 1. Practice mindfulness and observation. Before entering a new group or starting a conversation, take a few seconds to observe. How do people carry themselves? How do they speak? What is the overall atmosphere? This information will help you tune into the right wavelength and apply the principle of nonverbal congruence. The more you observe, the better you will read social cues. 2. Develop genuine interest in people. Forget about needing to make an impression. Instead, focus on truly understanding the person you're speaking with. Ask open-ended questions, listen actively, and show empathy. Learn something new about other people. The more you listen, the more common ground you will find and the stronger your influence will be. 3. Seek common values and interests. Pay attention to what others are talking about. In 90% of cases, you'll find something in common, whether it's a favorite TV show, travel, a shared professional problem, or views on a certain social topic. Subtly mention it. Oh, you're into marathon running too? I just started, it's so inspiring. And just like that, there's an invisible thread between you. 4. Be ready to offer small value. This could be advice, a resource, a compliment, or simply a willingness to listen. If you see someone looking for a pen, offer yours. If someone is struggling with a new software feature and you know how to use it, offer help. These small acts of kindness create positive impressions and open doors for further interactions. 5. Cultivate a positive attitude. People are instinctively drawn to positive energy. Your openness, friendliness, and optimism can themselves be a Trojan horse that helps you quickly integrate into any group. Consider how you can implement these principles into your daily life. Start small. At your next party, try applying nonverbal congruence. In a new job, try to show genuine interest in every colleague. In your family circle, find common values that unite you. After all, being one of them means being someone who harmoniously fits in and enriches any environment. It's not about losing your individuality, but about the ability to find common ground, build trust, and form deep, genuine connections. This is the path to a happier and more fulfilling social life, where you don't feel like an outsider, but actively participate and bring value to any community. By mastering these subtle yet powerful techniques, you will find that doors to any group open for you much faster than you could have imagined.